international students told us they would like the municipality to talk with them and not just about them.
Okay, welcome back to the Dutch Refresher, the mini-series where we talk about the upcoming Dutch elections in The Hague. I remind you that this is a collaboration between Baismag and Baiswave, and today we're with candidate Julia van Herpen. Hi Julia, would you like to introduce yourself to...
Hi. I'm Julia, and I am 23 years old. I'm a candidate for D66, number 9 on the list right now. And I study political science at Leiden University.
Okay, that's really interesting. How did you get into politics? Why did you join the party?
I joined the party as a student, or I joined the youth organization I lived in Nijmegen back then, and that's where I became active for the youth organization. And I think the reason why is because I've always been very interested in politics. I remember as a child, I would tell my parents that I wanted to change something in the world, and I guess politics sort of for me became the platform to try and do that. So then I became active in that organization, and I moved to The Hague. And that's where I got introduced to the adult party, D66, and I became active here for the municipal party.
So how long have you been involved? Pretty much. How much?
I guess since I was 20 or something. I guess not longer. I think 3 or 4 years now.
Okay, it's been a while then.
It's been a while. Yeah, and then finally this year I made the decision to actually be a candidate for the elections. So that was a big decision as well.
That's really nice. Okay, I have 4 questions about the party's program, and then 4 points that our fellow students raised.
Yeah.
The first question is about housing, which in the program is called a human right. And you guys talk a lot about how you want to focus both on building new houses, but also on, let's say, rehabilitating the already existing ones.
Yeah.
How are you guys planning to do that? Are you talking about changing the legislation or working on the houses themselves?
Yeah, that's a very important question because I think we all know housing is a very big issue right now because there's just not enough houses for the amount of people living in the city, especially students as well, have a hard time with it. And although building new houses is a good long-term solution, and that's in the end the solution to the whole problem, it will take a while. And that's why it's so important to try and create more space in the buildings that are already there. And now, right now, there are very strict regulations concerning sharing houses, for example, for students, making student rooms out of a house instead of having just one person or one family living in there. That is because in some neighborhoods there's a lot of those sort of split houses, but we made rules in the city, or rules were made in the city where every neighborhood now has very strict rules concerning house sharing. And what we want to do, first of all, is ease those regulations, make it easier for landlords to split the house into rooms so that students can live in them, and make it easier to share your house with one person, like friends contracts and stuff like that.
Is this going to focus more on certain neighborhoods, or is it going to apply everywhere in the city?
We'd like to be flexible in easing the regulations. So right now there's one rule for everywhere, and we want to make sure that it's flexible so that in neighborhoods where there is space for more people to be living in the existing houses, we can ease the regulations, and in neighborhoods where pressure is already very high, we don't.
Okay, that's really nice. On the second point of your party's program, education and youth, you guys talk about focusing on internationals, supporting them, and giving them space. What do you mean by that?
I think a very unique aspect about The Hague is its international student life. There's a lot of international students in The Hague, and I think that that's a very good thing, and we like to embrace that. We would like international students to feel at home in The Hague and to feel welcome and to feel supported, and that's what that is about. We wrote an action plan a while ago as well about international students, where we talked to them and asked, what are the difficult parts for you about moving to the Netherlands, moving to The Hague? What are the things that you would need maybe more support from the municipality or help in some areas. And it was a lot of it was about communication, I think.
Okay.
For example, considering houses or housing, like what are the rules, when are you being taken advantage of, but also how to get a doctor in the Netherlands, and it's really stuff like that that's hard for international students sometimes. Also psychological support, like therapists who speak English. It's really stuff like that. And as a growing student city and an international student city, the municipalities should try to make international students feel at home here.
Okay. Well, following these questions, I had a question about engaging, because you guys have a point where you talk about wanting the youth to engage more with politics.
Absolutely.
So this question is both about the Dutch youth, but also the international one. Are you planning to get young people more involved in politics, more involved in the municipality as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Young people, we mentioned them specifically as well, but people in general would be very good if they're more involved in municipal politics. And then specifically young people, I think we talk about like youth councils as well, wanting to give them a more structural place in policy making. Well, that's just one example. This whole campaign is about it as well, making sure young people go out and vote and make their voices heard in local politics. I think that's very important, and international students are an extra dimension in The Hague for us to think about regarding that. How can we make sure they are also... It's in that action plan, we also talk about how international students told us they would like the municipality to talk with them and not just about them. And a lot of policy on international students and students right now is being made about those students.
But without...
well, the municipality obviously tries to... It's not like they're not doing anything, but it could be more, and we would like to invest in that.
Yeah, I also feel... I mean, this is my personal experience, but I also feel like a lot of internationals don't know that they can engage with it.
Right, a lot don't even know they can vote.
Yeah,
that's the thing about the municipal elections. You can vote as an international student. So, like I think EU students and students who have lived here for 5 years or longer are allowed to vote.
Yeah, and of course register in The Hague for this specific election. But yeah,
absolutely. So that's very important.
But it was a surprise for a lot of our friends as well. They didn't know they could vote.
Yeah, and it's like you live here as well. Like the rules and policies being made here are very important for your lives as well. So
yeah, but like we should be able to know that we can engage in the city.
Yeah.
And then I have one last question about street safetyness.
It's a big issue in this election as well, right?
Yes, actually, I talked to a lot of parties about this, and everyone has different opinions on how to resolve this. You guys mentioned the BOAs, right? Okay, pronounced it correctly. That's nice. So the municipal investigation officers.
Yeah.
And also you talk about having a conversation, especially with the people that are more targeted in the streets, such as women and children. Which measures would you adopt to make them more safe?
Yeah, it's a complex issue that has a lot of aspects to it. But I think two things, very concrete things, is both in the with the BOAs, with the municipal investigation officers, we want to expand their capacity, so make sure there's more. Also in nightlife specifically, want to make sure that they are also on the streets during the times where young people are going out and the city is busy. So that's one thing, but that's more repressive, obviously. Like there's, if something happens, they can try and intervene and do something and help, which is great. But something else that we really want to do is design the streets in a way that makes them safe, so that we have clean and lively and nice streets to be in, where people feel safe and people are safe. And that means talking to those people who regularly feel unsafe on the streets, which is, for example, women. So if we design spaces, for example, HS is a very big one where it's very unsafe, or people feel very unsafe. If we talk to women about that, how would you feel more safe? What would need to change about this environment for women to feel safer? Then it's safer for everyone. And that's sort of the way that we look at it. So it's
about both resolving the issue but also preventing it.
Yeah, and prevention, if you ask me personally, I think prevention is very important.
That's nice. Okay, I have the 4 points. It's I'm gonna tell you the points and then you can decide in which order to answer them.
All right.
It's recycling. I mean, it's I would say it's about waste in general, but we had some points about why households don't really recycle. Affordability, both regarding housing and also just, the living cost of the city. Third spaces and Dutch learning courses.
All right, yeah.
You go.
Oh, okay, there I go. All right. To start off with third spaces, because that's the one that I found most interesting when you sent me these points. I thought, because that's for students specifically so valuable, because students live in very small rooms, very small housing situations, and especially for those people, it's very important to have other spaces where they can go and be with each other and spend time, especially spaces where you don't have to spend a lot of money while doing so. And that's something we want to encourage and support as well. For example, I think encouraging student and sports organizations and actively supporting those is a big part of that, to make sure students have a way of and a place where they can spend their time and be with each other. But supporting like a diverse and lively nightlife is part of it as well, so that there's something there for everyone. I know especially international students sometimes have voiced an opinion that they would like a more diverse nightlife in The Hague. Yeah, I've heard this before, and I can imagine what you mean by that. So those are definitely things we want to invest in.
Mm-hmm.
And in general, I think just the way the city looks and feels is a very big part of it as well. So if, for example, the outside space is nice to be in and to hang out in, that's that can be a third space as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to invest a lot of money in the outside space, and in, for example, in greenery, making sure there's enough shade and trees and nice spaces to be outside, parks.
That's really nice.
Yeah, so that's the sort of the way that we think about that. But there's a lot of facets to that, to third spaces, and a lot of options of what third spaces could be.
Yeah, you guys also talked in the program about investing in libraries. And
Libraries is a big one as well. Yeah, study spaces for students and for other citizens of The Hague could be provided through libraries, but libraries could even play a bigger role in providing that third space for sure.
Okay. What about recycling? Because this is kind of the question that every candidate, I feel like there's not many parties focusing on it.
Yeah, it's not a very big issue in this municipal elections, I would say. D66 does find climate and sustainability very important, and recycling obviously is a part of that. So that's definitely something we would encourage. Something that we do talk about in this election right now is how we as a city can be more responsible in reducing the waste we create. And something we want to do with that is working together with secondhand shops and organizations, and like the big waste dumps where people go to get rid of their big waste, to make sure that we're not disposing of valuable materials that could be kept within the economy. So that's something that we are talking about in this municipal election.
That's actually a great idea. What about affordability, both with housing and the living cost in the city?
Yeah, housing is something I thought about that immediately as well when I thought affordability, because a very big part of your income is just spent on housing.
Yeah.
And I think a student room is like on average 700 a month right now, which is a huge amount of money for most students. So that is like solving the housing crisis is a big part of working on affordability in the long term. If we build more houses, then prices will hopefully also go down, or at least you won't have to settle for a very expensive room anymore because there's more options for you. So that's both in building housing, but also in creating more housing in the existing environment where we can work on that. But I think there's much more on affordability. D66 is a party where we find it very important that everyone is free to live their own life and make their own choices. But we also find it very important we don't leave anyone behind in doing so, because if only a few people are free to do so, then none of us are. So that's something we want to work in, and affordability is also a part of that. So, for example, we want to change the ooievaarspas, which is like a card for low-income people in The Hague, where they can use to get certain things and stuff and services. And we want to change it to a situation where there's just one amount of credit on it or money on it, and people can decide what to spend it on, because we believe that people know best what they need, instead of like having specific goals for each little bit of credit on that card.
So they should have the freedom of
absolutely. So that's something that's one specific measure on so that people can afford life in The Hague, because I think The Hague is a very expensive city, especially for students, because there's so many like expats and high earning people living in the city. Especially for students, it can be very challenging to
sometimes it is
find a nice place to have a drink. Right?
The last point, Dutch learning courses, because a lot of us feel like we would like to actually learn the language, also to participate more both in politics, but also just integrate a little bit better. But sometimes Dutch learning courses are very, very expensive.
Right.
So a lot of students were asking if maybe more courses would be provided, even in public spaces such as like the library or...
Yeah, I know you have like language cafes in The Hague, right?
Yeah.
So that's a cool initiative, I think. I've heard this point before in the last weeks, and honestly, it's not as like a Dutch person, it's not something I was immediately aware of, so I looked into it a little bit. I think regarding international students, like I said, we find it very important to make international students feel supported and welcome and at home here. And if Dutch learning courses are a part of that, that's definitely something to see how we can help on that. I don't know what the university already offers, to be honest.
There's a course...
or what the municipality already offers.
The municipality, to be honest, I'm not sure. I've been told the International Center might have something.
Yeah.
While regarding uni, we have a course.
Right.
But it's I think it's 100 euros for 10 lessons.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's not really that affordable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we would all love to have more options.
Right, yeah, because learning the language is so important. I studied in Vienna last year for a semester, and I took German while I was there as well. And it made the experience so much better, because I was able to connect with so many more people and understand the city that I was in so much better. So I totally see the value in that. And regarding immigrants and internationals in general, we do talk about that in our program as well, that we want to invest in opportunities for them to learn Dutch and start participating in The Hague, like right from coming here. Well, that's more from an immigrant perspective, I guess. So I don't know how that would apply to international students specifically. But it's definitely something we find important.
Okay, that's great. Julia, sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Do you maybe have something that you want to tell our listeners and readers? For
sure. Yeah, I would say the most important thing is that you go vote, especially students and international students often don't go vote, and your voices are very important in this election as well. So go vote. If you have any questions, reach out to me on Instagram. I'm happy to help. Good luck with the voting choice.
Thank you so much.